Okay, so today we're going to go through a bit of a full body stretch and yeah, it's going to be a blend. So we're going to do a little bit of dynamic movement, some poses similar to yoga, and then we're also going to be using some mobility tools. So a foam roller, if you have a band and a lacrosse ball or mobility ball of some sort, whether it's bigger or smaller, that is going to be all that you're going to need for today. So we are going to start out with some dynamic movement. So we're going to be starting at the top or at the bottom of our mats, going into a inchworm. So you're going to walk your hands down the mat until you're in a plank position, and then you're going to walk your toes up towards your hands, and then we're going to turn around and we're going to do the same thing. So you're going to walk your hands all the way out to a tall plank, and then walk your toes towards your hands. Each one noticing your hamstrings warming up a little bit to the backs of your legs, and seeing if you can get your feet a little bit closer to your hands with maybe straighter legs. Your first ones maybe will look a little bit more like bent legs, and that is totally fine. And we'll do one more. All right, so from here, we're going to go on to all fours. So you're going to be on your knees, and your hands are going to be stacked underneath your shoulders. You can bring your toes underneath you as well. We're going to start with some cat-cow. So you're going to drop your belly, lift your gaze up, inhale, and exhale. Press through your hands, rounding your back. And going through this one a few times at your own pace. Noticing where you need to bring a little bit more focus or attention. I know right now my upper back is definitely feeling a little bit more stiff. So really trying to spread my shoulders. Okay, go for one more. Excellent. From here, you're going to bring your hands slightly forward, shift your hips back, and then push up into a down dog. And you're just going to pedal out your feet, stretching out those calves. Again, just noticing where tension is in your body. Good. So from here, you're going to bring your right foot towards your right hand into a lunge position. You can either keep your leg up or you can drop your knee, whichever you prefer. From here, we're going to go into some T-spine twists. So you bring your right elbow towards your right foot, and then you're going to twist open, trying to stack your hand above your other hand, and then back down and open. Again, you're trying to lower your elbow as close to the ground as you can, and that's okay if you can't get it all the way to the mat. If you are doing this with your back leg not quite touching the ground, that is great. Keep it going. You might also be feeling a bit of a stretch in your hip flexor, either with knee down or knee up, and that's good. You want to really maximize the time that you're in this position. So get a little bit of a stretch in your hip flexors too. Good. And bring your hand back down to that plank position. Right foot back, back to a down dog. Pedal out your toes. Just noticing maybe how that right hip is feeling compared to your left. And then bring your left foot towards your right or left hand. And again, same thing. You can either keep your back leg extended with your knee up or knee down on the ground. From here, bring your left elbow towards the mat and then twisting open, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then back down and up and down. Again, thinking about that extended leg, maybe squeezing a little bit into your right glute to see if you can get a stretch into your hip flexor, especially as you twist open, squeezing your right glute at the same time. You might notice a little bit more of a stretch. Good. We'll go for one more. And back to that plank position. Bring your toes back to a down dog. And just pedal out the toes. Excellent. All right, you're gonna go back down onto all fours. We're gonna bring your knees nice and wide and find yourself in child's pose. So bring your hands forwards and dropping your chest towards the mat. Forehead can rest on the mat, or you can rest on your hands or a block. And just taking a couple of deep breaths here. Trying to really expand through the rib cage. And exhale as much air out as you can. Big inhale. And exhale. And then pressing yourself back up. We're going to do a little bit more for your shoulders right now. So you're going to bring your right hand forwards. Left hand is going to tuck under and through, thread the needle. You can drop your ear towards the ground, and you either stay here, you can press through your right fingers to rotate down into that left shoulder. Almost think about pulling your left shoulder. I guess like reaching your fingers towards the wall, so kind of away from you, pulling, while rotating into your bottom shoulder. So using your right hand to help you rotate, or you can bring that right hand up and over behind your back to get more of a twist. And go for 2 deep breaths here. And then bringing your hand back to the side, pressing back up. And then we'll go through the other side. So you're gonna reach your left hand forwards, right arm scoops through, drop your shoulder to the mat, and then bring your left hand so it pushes into the ground. Oh, that your right shoulder, yes, right, pushes into the ground. And then again, reach those fingers away from you as far as you can. Excellent. And then back up. All right. From here, going into a couple more cat-cows. So hands are stacked below your shoulders, knees below your hips, and then dropping your belly, lifting your gaze. And exhale, pressing through the hands, rounding the back. Maybe giving a little bit of shift side to side. Good. We're going to go into a pec opener as well as a bit of a hip opener. So for this one, you're going to be on your stomach. You're going to bring your right arm out and then your left arm underneath your chest or underneath your shoulder. And then you're going to lift your left leg up and over. So you're twisting. So try to get that foot flat on the ground. And then push through your left hand, fingers to get a stretch into your right pec. Lots of lefts and rights going on here. So you should be feeling this one a little bit into your left hip and then into your pec on your right side. So again, taking a couple deep breaths here. And then back to neutral. We'll switch sides. I have to move my stiff. So left arm now is going to be extended. Right hand comes below your shoulder. You're going to press through your right hand, lift your right leg up and over, placing it flat onto the ground. And then again, pushing yourself up so that you feel a stretch in that left pec, maybe into the shoulder, and then opening up the hip on the right side. Again, a couple deep breaths. And back to center. All right, we're gonna go from lower body to upper. So we're gonna start with your foam roller. We're gonna do some quads. So you're gonna be starting on one leg and then the other. Doesn't really matter which one you start with. I'm gonna start with my right leg. So I'm gonna go with the foam roller from just above my knee up towards my hip flexor. So above the knee, I'm in a plank position. I'm gonna drop down to my elbow and roll up towards my hip flexor and back. So as I'm rolling here, I'm just trying to breathe into it, enjoy it, even if it is a little touch painful. I don't want to say painful, it's just sore. um, so as I'm going through this, I'm looking for where it's most tender. So some days it's right closer to above my knee, and other times it's closer to my hip flexor. Today it is closer to my knee, almost a little bit midway up. So when you find that tighter spot, you're going to spend a little bit of time here. So breathing into it. And if you didn't find a spot that was super tender, then you can just keep rolling up and down. And then spending time wherever you feel like. Another option would be to pin that point that's most tense and then bring your heel towards your butt. So this is going to be a lot more pressure. So only do this if you feel like you can tolerate it and that it's actually helpful, not that you're like more clenched and tight. So you should be able to relax into it. Good. And then do again a couple of passes all the way up and down. And then we're going to switch sides. So again, going from above the knee up towards your hip flexor. Going from plank position on your hands towards your elbows. Again, if you want a little bit less pressure, stay a little bit higher. If you're able to tolerate it, go a little bit lower. Again, doing a few passes, looking for some tender spots, and just noticing how each side is feeling. I know typically one side's going to feel a lot tighter than the other, which for me right now, my left side is feeling a lot more tender. So again, finding what spot is most tender, and you're going to focus on that. Again, the option to bring that heel in towards your butt and down. I'm not gonna lie, this side, that's not gonna help me. It's a little bit too tight. So I'm just gonna pin it without adding an extra stretch. Breathing into it. Another thing just with foam rolling is if you do feel like you're on a spot that's giving you any shooting, tingling, or numbness, then move off of it. You're on a little bit of, you could be on a nerve. So you just don't want to pinch that, but just rolling off of it and finding a different spot. All right, so after the quads, we're going to do a little bit of a quad hip flexor stretch. So we're going to go back into a lunge. So you're driving whichever leg forwards. So foot flat on the ground. I'm going to push that knee over your toes and then squeeze the other butt cheek. So for me, right foot's forward, right foot is forward, shifting my hips forward, squeezing my left butt cheek, feeling that stretch in the hip flexor, and then just kind of manipulating it to get a little bit deeper into it. You can also bring your left hand up and kind of just play around with the positioning to find where that spot is that you get the best stretch. And then breathe into it, imagining it getting longer. And then as you exhale, maybe getting a little bit deeper into that lunge. Again, thinking about squeezing your left butt cheek, getting that stretch in the hip flexor. And then back down. We're going to switch sides. So this time, left leg is forwards, right knee is down. You're going to shift your left knee over your toes. Squeeze your right butt cheek. And then again, bring your hand up and over if you need a little bit more of a stretch. Good. And again, as you're breathing, inhaling and exhaling, moving a little bit deeper into it. So driving that knee forwards. Inhale, exhale, shift that knee forwards. Good. And pressing back up. We're going to move on to our glutes. So with your foam roller, you're going to be starting again on whichever side. I'm going to start with my right. So my right leg is going to be extended. I'm shifting my weight into my right glute and then rolling up and down for a few passes. Again, I'm looking for where that tender knot is. Right? For me right now, if I sit on it, I slip off of it. So we call that a rope knot, which I often get in my lats and apparently my glutes. So finding where that is tight, and then you're going to try to breathe some length into it. So if you want, you could also do this one with a lacrosse ball or a bigger mobility ball and do something either on the ground if you want more pressure. If you want less pressure, you can also do it against a wall. So standing on a wall and then taking your lacrosse ball and kind of working around the glutes there. So on the outside first and then maybe towards the middle a bit more. So you can adjust that too with on the foam roller. So if you're a little bit more on the outside, you're on the glute med, which for me often gets very tight. If you go sit a little bit straighter, you're gonna get more into your glute max, which I also feel. Can you tell I've done some legs? Um, so yeah, play around with both positions. Again, you can go against a wall and use a lacrosse ball instead. So feel free to pause this video at any point to spend as much time as you need as well. So we're going to switch sides. So this time my left leg's extended and I'm doing a few passes, finding where it's tender, starting on the outside and then straighter to the middle. And just noticing how each side again is feeling. So I noticed that my left quad felt really tight, but I actually feel my right glute a lot more when I'm foam rolling here. So very interesting. Good. All right. Then we're going to do a reverse pigeon or a figure four stretch. So for this one, you're going to be laying down on your back. You're going to have both feet up close to your butt. And then you're going to bring your, let's say, left leg first to cross over. And then you're going to bring your knee in towards your chest. You're going to bring your fingers underneath or your hands beneath your thigh, or you can grab your shin and pull in towards your chest. And so this one you're going to feel in that left bent leg in your glute there. You can also push that left knee forwards and away from you to get a little bit more as you pull your right knee in. So again, play around with this position to find where you can get the best stretch. And take a few breaths. One more breath here. Excellent. We'll switch sides. So this time your right leg crosses over just above the knee. Pull the knee in towards your chest and then press the right knee away from you. Again, you should feel that stretch right in the hip. Um, Hip and glute. So this one's a really good one for releasing the piriformis. So if you tend to have some sciatica pain, this would be a great stretch to add in, just to keep it looser, keep that piriformis lifted up off of the nerve there. And see if that helps you. Overall, this one just is one of my favorites. Feels great. Let's go for two more breaths. Good. All right, we're gonna move into some upper body. So we're gonna take the foam roller again. You're gonna bring it at a 45-degree angle. You're gonna tuck it underneath your armpit, and then you're gonna rotate onto your back. So with the lat, I think about the lat as like a hand almost around your rib cage, connected just underneath your armpit. Hopefully I'm not hairy. So from here, that's the spot that you're focusing on. So it's not a huge area, but you can still rotate a bit side to side and a little bit up and down. This is the one that I mentioned. Sometimes I'll have like a rope knot where I'll be on it and like slip off of it. So if that's you, that's normal. Again, with this one, trying to breathe and relax into it to add length into your lats. And 5 more seconds here. Switch sides, so the same thing on the other side. So you're gonna have the foam roller at a 45-degree angle, tuck it underneath your armpit, arm is straight, leaning back, going slightly up and down, or slightly forwards and back. You can even just move your thumb in and out, and that might be enough to get a bit of a stretch in there. So find what works for you. Again, find the tender spots and focus your time in there. Let's go for one more deep breath. Good. All right, we're gonna do a few passes. So from low back all the way up towards your shoulders. So starting at low back, leaning into the foam roller to press it into the ground, and then rolling up towards your shoulders. It's kind of just doing a full roll of your spine. Excellent. Just a few of those. Okay, we're gonna go into let's do a lat stretch first, and then let's go into the scaps. So for the lat stretch, since you already did the thread the needle, let's do a modified child's pose. So you're gonna have your knees wider on the outside edge of your mats, and then you're gonna bring your arms forward. So start with just a neutral stretch. So reaching your fingertips as far forward as you can. Drop your forehead towards the ground. Take a couple deep breaths here, really filling up your rib cage. And exhale. Reach and breathe in. And exhale. Let's just do one more. All right, now we're gonna bring it into your lats a little bit more. Let's start by walking your hands over to the right side and then drop down towards your left arm. You can also stack your hand on top and look through. So leaning into that bottom arm or that middle arm towards the middle, that's what I mean. And a couple deep breaths here. So this one you should really feel on the left side of your body. Again, manipulating your hips however you need to also help get into the stretch a bit more. All right, walk your hands over to the other side. So the same thing, this time with your right hand over, left hand on top, drop down to your right arm, looking through. Deep breath in. And and rock your hands back to center. All right, we're gonna go into the scap. So this one you're gonna use your lacrosse ball or your mobility ball. I'm just going to move this so that you can actually see. Yeah, let's go. Let's go over here. All right, so you're gonna find a spot on the wall that um, allows you to move a little bit. So you're gonna take your lacrosse ball. You're gonna find your scapula, so your shoulder blade, and you're gonna work around it with the lacrosse ball. So you can kind of pin it wherever. You might need to, yeah, he'll manipulate it as you go. So I'm gonna pin it into the wall. It's just on the outside edge of my shoulder blade. And I'm gonna go around the border of my shoulder blade. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's some nuts crackling in there, especially up towards my traps, which I am known to hold a lot more tension there. Good, so a couple of passes here. And then you're gonna pin it in a tender-ish spot, but lower down. So from here, you're gonna bring your arm up as close to the wall as you can and back down. So depending on how tender of a spot you found, you might like get not very far up, and that's fine. Just work whatever range that you have that you can breathe through. We'll do 2 more raises. Again, remembering to breathe. Good. And we'll do the other side. So this might be able to see stuff. So it's on my left scapula now, and I'm gonna roll around the border of the scap up towards my traps. Yeah, nice. It does feel good though. Again, you might need to manipulate where the ball is, depending where you started. So as you're going through this, I want you to kind of just like take autonomy over how your body's feeling. So if you need to spend more time in any spot, feel free to just pause the video or fast forward it. If you need to skip a part, that's fine too. Use what you need. All right, we're gonna go through a couple of passes again. So lifting your arm up to whatever range that you have, and then back down. And don't worry if your range is not stellar at this very moment. Just use what you have in the position that you have. And let's go for 1 more. nice. All right, so we're gonna go back onto our mat. And we're gonna finish with a couple over and backs. So with your band, you're gonna take a wide grasp on it. So what, depending like how, I guess, stretchy your band is, you may be able to actually pull it as well. So as you go up, you're gonna bring it all the way overhead and behind your back, and then back in front. So going for a couple passes here. Maybe noticing if one side tends to like drop earlier than the other. Obviously, our goal would be that both are the same, but as you've been going through this, you probably noticed one side seems tighter than the other. That's okay. We're also going to do some circles. So you're going to drop your right hand down, left arm comes up and over behind you, and then your right hand comes up and over in front. We're going to do 5 on each side. So 2 more. Some cracking. Back to center, and then we're going to drop our left hand down, right arm comes up and over, and up and over. Again, going for 5, if I counted right. Good. All right, so to close off today, if you have the time, you can either bring your legs up on a wall or on a chair, or you can just go into a Viscashavasana on your mat. So laying your legs forwards, your palms up, eyes closed, just releasing any tension in your body. Maybe going through a bit of a body scan, so kind of working from your toes up towards your hands, up towards your back, towards your head, and just checking in with how your body's feeling, breathing into it, really focusing on expanding your rib cage, and exhaling long, slow, full exhales. You can spend as much time here that you need. And then when you're ready to come out of this, feel free. And then enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.